Korea's lawmakers have shown consensus in the need to support the public during the ongoing difficulties stemming from the situation in the Middle East. And for more on this, we have our political correspondent An Sung-jin with us in the studio today. Welcome, Sung-jin.
Thanks for having me, Soo-jin.
So, Sung-jin, you sat down with the floor leaders of the Foreign Affairs Committee at the National Assembly. What did they say about this issue?
Right, so let's first start off with the economic impact. Nearly 2 months into the crisis in the Middle East, the ripple effects are being felt far beyond the region. In Korea, the prolonged instability has begun to impact a wide range of industries. One key priority emphasized by both sides is mitigating the economic shock. Alongside stabilizing crude oil supply chains, there has been a stronger push to broaden import channels and over the long term accelerate Korea's transition toward renewable energy.
So when we combine those policy measures, in addition to the diversification and the energy safe measures, all in all, we can kind of survive this period of difficulties, and then we can shoot it back to the normal economic situation.
Support for the energy sector has also been reinforced through the supplementary budget. Measures are aimed not only at small business owners and the self-employed, but also at industries directly affected by the crisis, including transportation and naphtha-based sectors.
Broader livelihood support is also intended to help stimulate domestic consumption. But in the long term, as an export-focused nation, we are a highly energy-dependent economy, so we eventually have to accelerate the transition to renewable energy and the transformation into an electricity-driven nation. I believe that structuring legislation and policy is absolutely necessary.
Right, then what other aspects were discussed other than the economy?
Right, so on the diplomatic front, lawmakers from both parties underscored the importance of multilateral engagement. The Foreign Affairs and Unification Committee has maintained ongoing communication with Gulf states, including meetings with their ambassadors, while also continuing dialogue with both Iran and Israel.
Our greatest strength is maintaining good relations and leveraging these strengths to ensure that our diplomatic capabilities secure the safety of our expatriates, trade, and most importantly, national interests.
But the lawmakers also stressed that the cornerstone of South Korea's response remains its alliance with the United States.
So even though under President Trump, we must try to strengthen our alliance with the United States, at the same time, we must try to have more flexibility or more strategic flexibility in preparation for a new world.
Both highlighted that efforts in the National Assembly are focused on ensuring that diplomacy serves the national interest.
Well, that is reassuring to hear. Now, with all of that in mind, how does the National Assembly intend to move forward?
Right, so despite the evolving and uncertain nature in the Middle East crisis, the National Assembly says it will continue to closely monitor its impact on livelihoods and prepare measures in step with changing conditions. Now have a listen to what both of the lawmakers had to say about this.
Even after this supplementary budget, if necessary, I think we need to actively consider providing support for people's livelihoods to sectors heavily affected by high energy dependency, such as the transportation industry and the self-employed.
My thought is very clear that everybody loses when there is military this magnitude of military conflict, because this affects everyone. So I'm pretty certain that all the countries will try to help the two countries to come to an end of the military conflict as early as possible.
So it does seem like lawmakers will continue to keep an eye on how the situation is unfolding to assess the need for further measures.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today, Sung-jin.
My pleasure as always.